friends, this is Mrs. P. This week in science, we are going to be talking about planets in our solar system. And as you look at this picture here, you can see here is the sun. We know the sun is the center of our solar system. And we can see that we have Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars. And then a little bit further out, we have Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus and Neptune. And then on this particular picture, they have actually added Pluto, the little tiny planet right here. However, we will talk a little bit about whether Pluto is really a planet or not. That is up for discussion. Many scientists feel very strongly about whether it is a planet or whether it is something else. And we'll talk about that later in the week. So, today we're going to talk about the inner planets. These are the planets of our solar system that are closer to the sun. And you can see here that I've put a picture of each one. We have Mercury, we have Venus, we have Earth, and we have Mars. And they are what are called the four inner planets of our solar system. So, what does it mean if it's an inner planet? Well, we just said it's going to be closer, this says closest, closer to the sun. All of these planets are made of metal. Some planets are not. All of these planets have no rings. When we saw the original picture, we saw that there are some planets that do have rings. Our inner planets do not. The inner planets only have a few moons or no moons. Again, as we get further out in the solar system, you will find out that some planets have several or many moons. Also, these planets are called the terrestrial planets. These are the planets where we believe that things can live and grow, that people can live there, and that plants, vegetation, or other things can survive there. And then down here at the bottom, just like we listed before, the four planets that are the inner planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So let's take a closer look at these four planets. First up is Mercury. And you can see here that on this particular slide, it says Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. So it's very hot. Mercury has almost no water and is a very small rocky planet made up of a lot of rock. And Mercury is a planet that does not have a moon. There is no moon that orbits Mercury. Some other interesting facts that you may not know about Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. During the daytime, if you were on Mercury, the temperature would be about 700 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. Nighttime, listen to this. Nighttime, it can drop down to as low as negative 270 degrees Fahrenheit. Whew! That's cold. Mercury gets really hot and Mercury gets really cold. 1 year on Mercury is about the same as 88 Earth days. Interesting. All right, next up we have Venus. And as you can see here, it says Venus is the second closest planet to the sun. Its atmosphere is mostly made of carbon dioxide. Oh, we wouldn't survive there because we are not supposed to breathe carbon dioxide. This planet's atmosphere does not let heat escape easily, which makes it the hottest planet. Some other interesting facts about Venus. Sometimes it's called Earth's sister planet because it's closest in size and distance from the sun to the Earth. It spins in retrograde, which means it spins backwards. It spins the opposite way of how the Earth spins. The temperature on Venus can be 864 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, it's the hottest planet in the solar system. And guess what? Just like Mercury, Venus has no moons. Next up, one that we know, Earth. It says Earth is the only planet that we know of that supports life. This planet's atmosphere keeps temperatures from getting too hot or too cold. And we are the third planet from the sun. And one of the interesting things is we have a moon. We do have one moon. We also are the only planet that we know of so far that has life. And we are also the only planet that has liquid water. None of the other planets can say that, at least none of the other planets that we know of yet. And our fourth inner planet is Mars. And this says, of all the planets, Mars is most similar to Earth. Mars has 2 small moons. It has a thin atmosphere, and it's much colder than Earth. Some other facts: some people call Mars the red planet. Mars has polar ice caps that are made of frozen water and carbon dioxide. And Mars is home to Olympus Mons, the highest mountain or volcano in the solar system. How about that? Another planet can have a mountain or volcano. We are not the only ones. Something else we need to talk about. So, how do we know the difference between the inner planets and the outer planets? Well, they are separated by what's called an asteroid belt. An asteroid can be something similar to a big chunk of space rock like we're looking at up here. Scientists believe that Jupiter's large gravitational field prevented the asteroids from forming a 5th inner planet. So, if Jupiter's gravitational field had not been there, all of these asteroids might have come together and actually made a 5th inner planet. But because of Jupiter, they did not. The asteroids are made of metal, much like all the other 4 inner planets. There are over 1 million asteroids. It's a lot of asteroids. And many asteroids are the size of pebbles, just like you would see outside. Then we have Ceres, a dwarf planet, which is the largest object in the asteroid belt. And a dwarf planet is different than a planet like Earth or Mercury or Venus or Mars. So that dwarf planet, Ceres, actually hangs out with all the asteroids in the asteroid belt that separates the inner planets from the outer planets. So, what are you doing today now that you've learned a little bit about each planet? You are going to go on to the next set of slides. And there is a slide for each planet. There's one for Mercury, and there's one for Venus, and there's one for Earth, and there's one for Mars. Your job is to pick one of these planets, just one. So either you're picking Mercury, or you're picking Venus, or you're picking Earth, or you're picking Mars. And you are going to listen to some quick videos that tell you some more interesting facts about that planet. So if you say, oh, I'd really like to know more about Mars, then you'll listen to these 2 videos right here. After you've listened to the videos, you are going to go on to your very last slide. And you are going to write down 2 things. The first thing that you're going to write down is, what planet did you pick to listen and learn about? Okay, so either Mercury or Venus or Earth or Mars. And then the second thing that you're going to do, you're going to come down here and you're going to tell me one interesting fact that you learned about that planet. And it could be a fact that maybe I shared with you earlier, or it could be a fact that when you listen to the video was something new that I didn't share with you. Okay? Once you get done this slide, you'll submit it to your teacher so that your teacher can see what interesting facts you learned about your new planet. All right, friends, for now I'm going to sign off. Tomorrow, we will be talking about the 4 outer planets, and they are definitely very different than the inner planets. I will see you later.